Jason. Okay. And I'm asking him, like I've been asking other people, what brings you here?
Is basically I'm here to make my voice heard that I am part of the 99% of America who is tired of being given the short end of the stick financially by the United States government. I feel that it's a travesty of justice that banks, big corporations, pharmaceutical companies, even car manufacturers were given billions and billions of dollars to keep themselves afloat, while the common man was given a measly $300-400 in a stimulus check. I mean, in this day and age, what can you expect to do with that type of money? Not much.
Right.
You know, that won't even, most places that won't even pay a month's rent.
True.
I'm here to show my support for Occupy Grand Junction because this started in my hometown, which is another reason why I'm getting involved in this, is because I am originally from New York.
Okay.
And
Now the
this
accent
whole
was a...
the actual Occupy, the original Occupy first started on Wall Street.
Right.
And everything has filtered down from the Wall Street
Right.
till now, which is why I'm so heavily involved in this one.
So, was there any one incident that made you decide to get involved?
Well, to begin with, I'm homeless.
Okay.
I live on the streets of Grand Junction. I have been trying to find work for a substantial amount of money and not have to settle for minimum wage. Because I feel that I shouldn't have to be given minimum wage when the cost of living demands that I should be getting paid double the amount of what the minimum wage is.
Okay.
According to recent statistics, I mean, the average person should be making $15 an hour in Grand Junction, Colorado. And
Right.
they're not. They're making $7.40 an hour.
Exactly.
And that's a travesty of your, human rights, because I mean, they granted, okay, it's come a long way from 100 years ago when you worked for 50 cents a day in a coal mine.
Right.
I understand that, but everything's going up. Gas is going up. Cost of living is going up. Food is going up, and yet the working man's wage stays the same.
So, I'd like to hear how you wound up homeless in Grand Junction.
How I wound up homeless in Grand Junction is because basically the job market fell thin. I couldn't afford to, I was laid off from the job I was working at, and I couldn't find another job, and I couldn't afford to stay where I was living. So unfortunately it was a choice of going to stay. Yeah, I could easily go stay in a shelter, but without a job I didn't have the money to pay for the shelter, because every night you stay there you have to pay money to stay there. Which I think is wrong. I mean, you're struggling, you're trying to get back on your feet, and yet they're saying, "Oh well, we'll help you. We'll give you a nice warm bed. We'll give you a hot meal, but you have to pay us money in order to do that."
Money that you don't have.
Money that I don't have. And if I had the money to give them, I mean, if $2 a day, on an average, you're spending $2 a day. There's 30 days in a month, $60 a month.
Right.
Okay. That's a cheap hotel. Maybe 100 years ago.
Well, that's not even a cheap hotel here.
Well, no, not here. No, that's what you $60. That's what you'll pay for one night.
For one night
at a hotel here in Grand Junction. The cost of living here is ridiculously high. And the cost of everywhere is. I mean, it depends. I mean, you go to these big cities, And I mean, I just was talking to my best friend the other day. I mean, something trivial like a pack of cigarettes
Right.
costs a New Yorker $12.
Ah,
$12 for a pack of cigarettes in New York City. Almost $6 for a gallon of gas. And but yet the wage, minimum wage in New York City is $8 an hour.
so in other words, in New York City, if you were a smoker, you certainly couldn't afford to be one.
Right. And then plus, I mean,
And you can't afford to drive.
you can't afford to drive. I mean, I lost my car because I had to get rid of my car because I could no longer afford to maintain insurance payments and registration fees and maintenance fees. I couldn't afford that anymore, so I had to take my car and send it off to the junkyard. I had a storage facility that was full of my personal belongings. I lost because I didn't have the money to keep up on the storage fees.
What did you do as a job before?
Well, before I became homeless, I was working at Office Depot as a salesman.
And introduce
Really?
themselves to your men here on the ground. But there's
And as you look for jobs, what do you run into as a homeless person?
Well, my biggest problem is I don't have an established address. So I have to use the address that I have on my identification card, which is an address that I no longer reside at, in order to just get even my application looked at. So right off the bat, I'm falsifying information on an application. So right off the bat, I'm starting a dishonest relationship with my boss, with a potential boss. And that bothers me.
Well,
It really bothers me because I like to be an honest person. I like to tell the truth about who I am. And I don't put an address, because I actually did that. I went to a job one time, I filled out an application, and I put no address down. But I had a phone number. At the time, I had a phone number.
Right.
And the guy called me, and I went into I spoke to him, and he looked at the application, and he says, you're missing your address on your application. And I says, yes, I know I am. That's because I do not have one.
You know what I mean? Certain banks
I'm trying to find a job so I can get off the streets. You know what that man said to me?
No. What?
We don't want you coming here. You'll probably get a job and they'll probably steal from you.
Oh, so he immediately assumed that
He
because
immediately assumed because I was homeless that I was going to go work for him and rob him.
that it just sounds like winding up on the streets is almost a sure way to stay on the streets.
And the only way, and the only way, in my opinion, is that our government is going to really wake up and realize what's going on is when the middle class and the upper class start having the problems that we're having.
Well, I think that's happening in actuality. I mean, in Grand Junction, I was going to ask you, have you seen a change in the face of the people?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And it's not a face of happiness. A mother should not have to wonder where the next meal for her child should be. A mother should not have to wonder where the next supply of diapers for her baby are going to come from. She should just walk into a store free-flowingly and say, "Oh, okay, $10, sure, no problem. Here you go," and walk out with no hesitations, no problems. I remember I worked at Walmart one time. This is a true story.
Excuse me, please, singer.
No problem. Oh, thank you.
This is a true story. I worked at Walmart a couple years ago. And I actually, for what I did, I got written up for because the manager saw me do it. Working at Walmart and working in the meat department. I happened to be on my break. I was walking over by the sodas to go get a soda, and I see this young lady standing by the diapers, crying, in tears. I walked up to her. I said, "What's wrong? You see, why are you so sad?" And she looked at me. She goes, I need diapers for my son, and I don't have enough. I could get him something to eat, but then I won't have diapers for him. Or if I get him diapers, I won't have something for him to eat." I looked at her and go, no. I took her with me. I says, she had the food with her and her son. She had the food with her in the basket and her son in the basket. I told her, I says, you go up. I says, I didn't have any cash on me. All my money was on a card.
Right.
This kind of stuff.
So I says, all right, let's go. I grabbed my soda, and I walked up and I grabbed the I grabbed the diapers. I says, come on, let's go up to the register. She goes, what are you gonna do? I says, don't worry about it. Let's just go to the register. She's like, okay. And she followed me to the register. I says, go ahead, get your food for your son, get your food for yourself. And I said, do you have extra to get something for yourself too? She goes, yeah, I have a couple of bucks to get something for myself. I was like, go ahead, get something for yourself too. And she went up and she paid for her order. And then right behind her, I went and I rang up the soda and he borrowed the diapers. And the reason why I got in trouble wasn't so much because I bought the diapers for the lady. It was because of the fact that, without realizing, I let the cashier put in my employee discount.
Your discount. You got in trouble for using your discount.
Because I used the employee discount because it was a purchase that was not made for me. It was because I made the purchase for somebody else.
Yeah, that sounds just wrong to me. Just wrong.
Because I made the purchase for somebody else out of the kindness of my heart, the manager chewed me out for it. Because of the fact that I didn't take the incentive to say, hey, don't use my employee discount on this one. And then after the lady was through, I handed her the diapers. I says, go home, have yourself a nice hot meal with your son, and you go and you use those diapers well for your son.
Right.
And she gave me a hug and a kiss. She's like, thank you so much. I don't know how could I ever repay you. I said, you don't have to repay me. It was a gift. It wasn't money.
Right.
And that's what I told her. I said, it was a give and it wasn't a loan. And then when I was coming back from break, and my department manager came up to me and says, well, you just came off break? I'm like, yeah. He goes, all right, well, the assistant manager wants to talk to you. So I go in and I speak to the assistant manager, and he was ready to write me up because I said, whoa, wait a minute, whoa. You're going to write me up because I didn't realize it, but I used my employee discount to help somebody, and it kindness of their heart, because they couldn't afford to get a lousy set of diapers for their
and what would the discount have been?
Yeah, it's not.
What is it?
It's 10% discount.
Yeah, 10%. So they lost
of a $10 purchase.
$10.
They lost $1.
They lost $1. So apparently,
This is John, right?
Walmart can't afford to give $1.
It's
to
not that
someone,
they can't afford.
Yeah,
They don't care.
but they don't
Some of
care.
like
They're a
these guys
corporation. Walmart is a corporation, and they don't care about the little person. They care about milking us for every amount of money they can.
I've often thought that the corporations, because the corporations were originally started by people,
Right.
human beings.
Right.
The guy, Sam, what was his
Sam
name?
Walton.
Well, Sam Walton. I think that if he could see what happened, really happened to his company, I'd like to think that he would be a little bit
He'd be upset.
horrified.
He would be right now. Honestly, in my opinion, Sam Walton is spinning in his grave.
Yeah,